Hello, welcome to Trust Your Glitter. My name is Christy Bellich, and this is the astrology for the week of August 6th through the 12th. And this is going to be another big week in 2023 for us. In astrology, it's kind of like a numerology. I don't know, it's kind of like I don't know, a portal, so to speak. In numerology, we have the 8-8 portal on the 8th of August. So I will actually have another episode coming out this week with my friend Kristen Bailey, Lady of the Lamps, and we're going to talk about the 8-8 portal. But this week I wanted to talk about the astrology and to just get us some information about the upcoming transits and everything that's going on. I am having trouble with Mars and Virgo right now. My perfectionist tendencies are out. So if you're feeling like a perfectionist right now, Mars is in the sign of Virgo, and we also have Mercury and shadow in Virgo. So with the North Node in Aries and with Chiron retrograde in Aries, it is kind of like we have this duality between Mars Aries energy, but also Mars energy in Virgo. So it brings out really perfectionist tendencies. Just full disclosure, it's taken me 3 times. I have edited this video with perfectionism and nothing's perfect enough for me. So I was like, you know what? This episode is just going to be a lot of like imperfections, and I'm just going to have to go with it. So usually everything to me, I know that people watching, I know that you probably also agree with this, is a spiritual lesson. I think everything's a spiritual lesson. So I'm still a stand-up comedian for life. And comedians, we go on stage and we do open mics over and over again, and we try our jokes over and over again. Sometimes you get a great room, sometimes you don't. But that's how I kind of view my astrology podcasts that I'm doing. Is it's like, I know I'm in a realm with a whole bunch of people who are complete experts and have studied with the best astrologers, and but I've lived astrology transits. And if you're listening and you're on planet Earth, or if you're not on planet Earth, you've lived astrology transits. Like, we've lived the stars, we've lived the skies. So right now we've got some Mars Virgo action. And we also had some oppositions with Mars and Saturn last week. Saturn's in retrograde. There's just a lot of that, like, am I good enough? Am I enough? A lot of like doubt in the sky. And then also we've got a whole bunch of like Venus retrograde going on. So there's just a lot. You guys, it's just a lot of retrogrades. It's a lot of fucking retrogrades, okay? I hope this was not the first minute on YouTube, because you can't say fuck in the first minute. It's just like a lot. And at the same time, there's so much strength coming out in as well of our inner beings. My strength is in, I broke a nail before the other thing is, like, my nails, like, I haven't been painting my nails over the last few years because I used to like go to get manicures like all the time. And of course, like right before I go to record, I break a nail. And it's like, I pull tarot cards, like, there's no way you're going to see my broken nail. And I'm not going to cut my other nails either. Like, these are, it's hard. You use the cuticle oil, you use the cuticle oil, you fucking, try and eat right. You eat the vitamins to get your nails. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to pull cards on a video. And then your nail just snaps off. And you're just like, and that is Mars, Virgo, shadow Mercury, retrograde kind of shit. I'm telling you. So we open up this week, and the thing that I like about this week, today as I record this, the sun in Leo is square Jupiter. Jupiter is also a theme of the week, and we also have a last quarter moon this week. And those who are sticking around for the writing exercise for the lunar cycles, which began with the new moon in Cancer, I'm also going to be continuing that exercise with the last quarter moon, as we also are going to be heading into a new moon cycle in Leo. That'll be next week. But this week we got a last quarter moon, so I'm going to talk about that. Full writing exercise will be at the end of this podcast today. So stick around if you've been sticking out your journaling exercises for manifesting, for a higher vision, new vision for yourself. And that started on that. I mean, that Cancer new moon was so powerful, and she's still working us through. These lunar cycles are taking us through. So do not discount the moons this week. And it just, with today's Sun square Jupiter, it is about asking ourselves about value, self-worth, and value, which has been a theme of 2023. Self-worth, value, especially around Taurus season when we had these eclipses come through. And so I want to also say, the aspects of this week, and I got a question. So I want to address it. Somebody asked me what aspects are. And astrology aspects are basically the position in which the planets are at, where they have a communication with one another. So transits, astrology transits, when I talk about that, it's when planets move, say, from another sign, from one sign to another. Aspects are when planets in the sky, no matter what zodiac sign they're in, have a specific connection to other planets in the sky. And this is based on, say, for example, we have a square today. That's an aspect. It's a 90-degree angle between the sun and Jupiter. Jupiter being in the fixed sign of Taurus, the sun being in the fixed sign of Leo, they're 90 degrees away from each other, exactly at 14 degrees. So that's called a square. We also have trines, which are very harmonious, the same element, same degree, same element. So that would be like a water sign to a water sign, fire to a fire, air to an air. Now we can also go, by element and call that an elemental trine. We also have oppositions. So for example, classic opposition right now going on is with the North and South node. That's always holding an opposition. So our North node being an Aries, a fire sign, South node being its counterpart, the balance scale of Libra, South node. But we have oppositions when we went through Cancer season with that with that new moon. We had a sun energy opposing Pluto. So the sun in Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn. So that's a natural opposition. We also have sextiles, which is if you think of signs skipping signs. So if you think of like a natural one, let's start with the first sign being Aries, skip a sign, Gemini. That would be a natural sextile. Just by zodiac signs themselves. This is a degree as well. So if you go 30, which is the first 30 degrees of the zodiac, 30, which is the second, would be in Taurus, and then 30 over, that is a natural sextile. So, it also varies. Like if we have like something at 14 degrees Aries, a natural sextile would be 14 degrees Gemini. And there's other aspects as well. I get asked about a kite aspect that includes sextiles and oppositions. But we're not going to get into that with this. But if somebody has a kite aspect in their chart, think of it as literally like the universe is directing somebody towards a point, a very high point, where it's almost like, yes, there's oppositions involved, but the sextiles support the opposition. Somebody who has a natural kite in their chart that I'll never forget is Kurt Cobain. If you go and you Google Kurt Cobain's natal chart, you will see something that literally looks like a kite in the sky. And the kite pretty much directs him towards, this is the point he is floating towards. And Kurt Cobain was a Pisces. So if you think about like somebody who has a natural direction, his was towards Piscean ventures, and, for him, it was music and other things, creative, a very creative, poetic person. So his kite kind of directed him towards that channel. He was naturally channeling the divine. So that's just some questions that I got. I also had some questions about tarot that I'll get into. I had some questions about the seventh house, and I'm going to wait for the seventh house question until other videos, but I will answer some tarot questions as well. Um, so aspects this week, you want to pay attention to all things point to the eighth. But the thing is, it's not that just everything's going to happen on the eighth, because we've been building up towards the eighth, and we visit the eighth every single year. We visit portals every single year: 222, 1111, 77, and this year was 777 based on the numerology. Next year, we're going to have 8, and then by the numerology of 2024, we're going to have 888. So this year's 88 portal, pay attention to what goes down, because these portals kind of give us, and if you believe in like what I'm about to discuss, chill with me for a second. If you're not on board and you're like, Chrissy, we already knew you call your podcast Trust Your Glitter. You're on some vibes here. We get it, but you're weird. Yes, I'm fucking weird. I get it. But I'm telling you, it's all about the numerology. I'm no historian, but I will tell you, like, plenty of historical societies were based on numerology. And what I say about that is, like, if we look at everything from a broader perspective, this is when we get these dates in alignment, when we get these dates every year, it gives us this chance to kind of step outside of time and space. It gives us this chance to really allow, hmm, how do I put it into words? And I was like, oh, I'm going to hide this nail that I broke. And it just has been in the video. It has been a recurring character because I talk with my gosh damn hands. I can't help it. I talk with my hands. Hand talker people unite. Also, like, I have a fan that directly blows on me because otherwise it's going to be swamp ass in these parts. You know what I mean? So, like, throughout these videos, I just have to have a fan on me. When the fan blows on me, I have to drink water. It's just a whole process, okay? This is a process. Trust the gosh damn process and appreciate the fact that we're in a portal this week, okay? We're in a portal, and it's all about being like, yo, I have these goals. And the thing is, like, women, okay, because this is, look, I'm a feminist astrologer through and through. And I know women out there, you're listening, and people out there are listening too, but especially women, we get a lot of pressure when it comes to like our career, when it comes to what we do. It's not like I don't feel this on a daily basis. Women, like, we get all this pressure about our age, and a lot of times it's like, oh, when are you gonna get married and have kids and like do all the things that society expects of you? And then we get days like 8-8 where it's like, fuck that shit. And like I've been saying throughout this whole process, is Lilith is up there with Venus. And Lilith and Venus are really, really conversing this week. They are hand in hand. And the thing about Lilith and Venus this week is they are conjunct this week. And the thing is, the degree that they're conjunct this week, 23 degrees Leo, is going to reflect our new moon in Leo. So it's like kind of like the divine feminine, she's really leading the way. Like Mars is in Virgo, kind of like holding it down and like holding space and like creating this energy of organization. But like this Venus retrograde is probably one of the most important transits of 2023. And I think that with that, it's a lot of reworking what your value is to yourself. It's reworking how you see your creative space in the world. And I know that it's so hard when we have all of these expectations. Believe me, like sometimes you have to step back in some certain way in order to go forward. And when I go into these podcasts, I hit record and I have no idea where I'm going to go. I have my notes out based on the transits, but I'm just kind of feeling what Venus is really saying to us through this. And I've been reading this book. The book's name is literally Witch. And, in the book, the author talks about um the Creatrix. And I was thinking about this earlier, like, how do women in society really channel that inner creatrix again, where we can be safe, where there's a safe place for us to create again without it being, because we're going to get criticism. That's the thing, is like when you're creating, somebody out there is going to criticize you. And with all these Virgo things going on in the sky, a Virgo Mercury retrograde is not helpful for the inner critic. How do you show up even if, like, you hate something, even if something feels super challenging? Like, this is not easy for me. This shit's not easy for me. I keep showing up because I love astrology. I keep showing up because I love what I do, but it's not easy to press record on a camera and pray that whatever this process is something that's going to mean something down the road. And maybe it's just something for me, maybe this podcast is just something for me to do, to recognize that, this will lead to something that'll lead to something that's creative energy. But this is something that really holds power in all of our lives. Like, where do you press play in your life? Where do you put your pink pen to the notepad and just write? Where do you put yourself out there? Where are you afraid to put yourself out there? Leo energy is asking us to do that, and it's only going to build until this new moon. It's only going to keep building. It's only going to keep poking at our heart with this new moon. And we are evaluating every relationship in our life, and that includes the relationship to ourselves. A huge question, I've been working on a vlog, and it's super vulnerable, and it's just like my whole pussy is just out there for the world to see. And I realize a huge meaning of this vlog is like, what is home? And a huge part of our Cancer season with these moon cycles, these lunar cycles, is asking us, what is our creative home? What is our creative space? What is our creative ground? Where do we feel safe to create? How do we feel safe to create? Where have we backed away from our courage? Where have we backed away from our strength? That is what this 8-8 portal is being like. Hey, do you remember when you did that really, really brave thing? Well, guess what? Like, it's not left your heart. It's not left your soul. It's not left who you are. There's still stuff in there for you to keep on going. So this week we have a last quarter moon, and last quarter moon is in Taurus. Now, our last quarter moon, if you think about this, this is a time when we're in that phase before the new moon, when we're going to start to enter the waning phase. So we've been in a disseminating moon towards the quarter moon, last quarter moon, and the disseminating phase. So we went waxing to full moon, disseminating, and now from the last quarter moon, we will be in this phase where the moon is going to wane, lose light, closer and closer and closer to the new moon. So the new moon is going to be a time that is really illuminating towards our creativity. And in this particular case, this gives us structure. So we're in a planting and growing and death and rebirth all in one in the last quarter moon. And I think it's really important because our last quarter moon is on the 8th of August, the same day as the 8-8 portal. So the 8-8 portal represents like this very pinnacle Leo energy. Leo ruled by the sun king, quote unquote, the lioness. And in this particular case, if you think about the sun, this is the shining energy. This is the energy where people take center stage. This is the the energy of that which rules over where we shine on the same day as the last quarter moon, which is kind of like as we're going into losing light after that. So I think it's really important to look at that duality there. It's the sun, the moon talking together, looking at each other it's just, I'm not editing this part out because I am trying to feel through this. There's so much moon, there's so much Jupiter. There's a moon Jupiter energy together. Uranus is very close by in Taurus. This is around 15, 16 degrees of Taurus with the moon and Jupiter. And then we have Uranus around 22 degrees. Give me a second to think this through. Because I have so many notes, but I have so many feelings. And I kind of feel like that's how it's going to be on 8/8. It's like some things you can identify, some things you can't. Some feelings you feel, you just know. A lot of this is about faith. A lot of this is about sometimes you can't define the divine feminine. And there, with Venus retrograde with Lilith up in the sky in square to this energy, yet the Leo energy is so bright and big in the sky with the sun, and then the moon is like in the Venusian sign of Taurus with Jupiter. Your heart chakra takes priority here. This is a heart opening in such a way that it's like so grand. And with the full moon in Aquarius that we just soared through, it is about trusting in the miracles. You know, I have recognized in my comedy journey how many times I have not bet on myself and how many times I have sabotaged myself. And we just went through a South Node cycle in Scorpio and really stopped betting on the miracle. And I'm talking from the deepest depths of my heart right now, where it's just like outside forces have nothing to do with your life purpose. And it's so hard to say that when I've also sabotaged myself. So I'm speaking and saying, like, as somebody who's like leaving an enmeshed family system right now, the self-work never ends. But, and I'm trying to feel this out as like, you have a right to be yourself. You have a right to follow your dreams. You have a right to do this. If other people, other forces, other time frames threw you off your destined path, the tests that happened in the past were meant to strengthen your resolve. And that is the blessing of this journey between these lunar cycles. The Capricorn full moon, supermoon that we had, and the Aquarius supermoon that we had were checkpoints. Capricorn was almost kind of an asshole. And then we had the full new moon in Cancer. Then we had full moon, supermoon, and Aquarius being like, no, there's a higher vision here. Do not lose hope. Do not lose sight. Capricorn done us in 2020. And we're still working through that energy. But what this energy is trying to roll us through is get in touch with our inner fire, our inner internal flame, our sacred union with ourselves, the twin flame from within. And a twin flame journey is so fucked up if you think about it. Because yes, most of us, and in the age of Aquarius, I do think this is a hypothesis, that a lot of us know our twin flames already. We've met our twin flames already. We've been in some sort of union with our twin flames, or we're going to be in the age of Aquarius. And the twin flame journey is not for the faint of heart. It is not. I hate literature that's like, oh my God, I just want to find my twin flame. No, you find your twin flame to work out a lot of shit within your own heart, within your own self. The purpose of the twin flame is for you to actually be like, fuck you, I'm going the other way. That is what a twin flame. In a twin flame journey, there is a runner and a chaser. If you're the runner, you have your own purpose in that journey of finding your own self and why you be running. If you're the chaser, you need to really, really sit with yourself. And I'm talking to anybody who's on a twin flame journey. Again, this is from personal data, personal experience. You really need to ask yourself, how is this reflecting certain family systems and structures that you were born into that you're trying to dissolve within your own frame? How can you become sacred union with yourself as Venus is retrograde, asking you to really deepen the value? Now, if you're on a twin flame journey and you've gone to the soulmate level, meaning you've risen from the ashes on the twin flame journey, both of y'all, because the thing is, the twin flame journey, y'all have to realize this is equal. Y'all look at each other and go, you're my twin flame, you're my twin flame. At some point, there's no denial between the twin flames. If you think about it, the infinity symbol is between Leo and between the twin flames. So if you're on a twin flame journey, the chaser, please stop chasing. If you've been chasing for years and years and years, you are not going to get the runner on the twin flame journey. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to stop from within. I did not pull this card intentionally. It was right here, the Ace of Spades. Start your new journey. This is your voice. This is your power. This is your creativity. If your twin flame can be a family member, can be siblings, it can be friends, it can be anybody in your life that you've met along the way that you're like, that's my twin flame. It could be a romantic journey. It can be anything. And it is a romantic journey in many ways. But at a certain point, you have to stick up for yourself on this journey. If you're like listening, you're like, I don't know a twin flame, but I'm sure as hell been in a hard relationship with somebody. This is also, if you're in a relationship where there's a running, chasing dynamic, sit with that, where it's like constantly running after somebody, constantly chasing after somebody. This is something where you are just like, no, no bueno, not any fucking more. Okay. Now that I got it out of my system. So this week I'm gonna say, like, we've got a lot of Jupiter happening. With that Jupiter, I'm gonna say reflect back into May, reflect back into April, May, June. Go back to old journals, go back to old emails, go back to things, because Mercury's in shadow, Venus is in retrograde. This is about getting in touch with, like, what the hell was going on then. You know, I know comedians and writers listen to this. So you writers, comedians, I know you're documenting your journey, and however you document your journey, I strongly urge you to go back to things you've written in the past. I strongly urge you to go back to projects that you thought in your head weren't good enough. I strongly urge you to go inward. There's a lot of outward energy this week with all the Leo, but I strongly urge that shadow aspect of Mercury to allow you to sit in quiet, in peace, with your writing, with your journals, with your art, with yourself, with your whole sacred body, and really go into memories, really go into things that you maybe didn't want to go there, and really kind of start to organize them into compartmentalize, like label them. Be like, this is this section of my life. This is this section of my life. This is this section of my life. Give them labels. Give them sort of like a place for power in your own mind, so that when you start to move forward, as Venus starts to rise, Venus is going to be going through a depths and a rising phase, you're going to start to see that you are your own autonomous authority. This is a process. Okay. I am getting super emotional as I record this, so please understand, like, I'm feeling a lot of feelings all at once. So maybe that's time for some tarot, and then I'll get into writing exercises. But let's see. I'm going to do some unicorn tarot. And yes, I have like a pillow around me. It might just be a lot of vulnerable energy in the sky right now. So I'm going to pull for the elements. So the first element I'm going to pull for is the element of fire. So if you are a sun, moon, or rising, I'm going to pull one card for each element. Element fire. Ooh, fire sign, sun, moon, or rising. Your card is the devil. And I do want to mention that the energy of Venus, these Leo energies are quincunx to Pluto. So you are digging. It's a soul journey. Soul journey. I do see this as temptations, but I also see this as a twin flame journey. So really go back to the past and really ask yourself, what was controlling or dictating you? What seeped into your mind? Because the North Node's in Aries, Chiron's in Aries in retrograde. All these planets are shining in the sign of Leo. What in the past tried to take your inner authority away? And where are you finding that authority to really go into your soul work, your destiny work again? With the devil here, this is, I feel like, overcoming this experience. If abuse was involved, this is about saying, Pluto, you're in retrograde and you're going to be entering Aquarius again. And this will happen again. You're going to enter Aquarius again. So while Pluto is in Capricorn, this is a time to really reassess that energy and reassess where you felt like you lost your power, because that's coming back again. And this is taking, I gotta get rid of this, but gosh darn it. Well, you saw my old ass pillow in the back. Look, one day a girl's gonna manifest a studio. And when I have a studio, it's gonna be like really pretty and really nice, and it's gonna be surrounded by like plants and trees or flowers, whatever. So let's go to air. So fire was first with the devil. This one was real adamant about coming out. Oh, another major arcana. Air signs: Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. The Hermit. I'm going to feel this as Virgo, Mars work. So this is also with Mercury, Virgo. So this is so nothing is permanent. Buddha, nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Yes, I do think that this is green, emeralds. I honestly don't think this is green though. Like, I'm seeing this as citrine. So if you're listening and you don't work with crystals, look up citrine, Citrine. And citrine is a crystal that works with your second chakra. Yes, emerald means the heart chakra, but in this particular case, this is second chakra stuff. This feels shamanic. So in new moon work, and I don't do this type of work, but there's a specific type of new moon practice that works with crystalline grids. And I'm seeing this as like old school Qigong. So for those who are working with the new moon and you're an air sign, this is manifesting with the new moon, but it's sitting with a crystalline grid. Now, if what I'm saying is kind of like, what the hell is she talking about? With the Qigong method, this is like looking at the new moon as a very structured piece of work for yourself. And in this particular case, like I'm very kind of unstructured and more watery in my approach towards my readings. But this is almost like setting up goal sheets or setting up something extremely like point to point to point from this week until next week as we head into the new moon cycle. You might have to go into deep meditation, and this might be that kind of work where it feels like you are separated or isolated from the pack, but that separation or isolation has a vantage point. It makes sense. It's where you're supposed to be right now. It's who you're supposed to be right now. If you have to go into your bear cave, if you have to go into these areas where you do feel isolated from society, you know, isolation is sometimes the best form of healing for us because nobody else's voice gets in. However, I will say, as somebody who's experienced in isolation, that's when the voices are the loudest because that's when you can work with your past in a very constructive way. So that's for air signs, sun, moon, or rising. Obviously, if you're working with like a prominent planet in an air sign, or if you're like cross watching, that's for air signs there. So let's go into earth signs. We have a very fire earth week this week, element wise. Earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Nice, nice, nice. Ace of Pentacles. And I heard the song by the Mamas and the Papas, to every season, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. So we just had Llamas last week, and we have a quarter moon this week, and it is about seasons. So if we look on a 30-day scale, a monthly scale, we are experiencing seasons. Every day we experience seasons. I heard seasonal depression. We are heading into that time of year where the sunlight changes. I do think our timelines are changing. I do think our nodes are changing. But I do think that for the seasons, this is saying you are reaping the harvest, earth signs. This is a time to expand, especially in business, especially if you've really got to put these, thoughts into play, plans into play, financial growth, moving finances in order to expand your business. This is related to career. Family falls into place with that. This is taking authority in this particular case. This could also be kind of a lineage thing, as I look at Pluto as a generational cycle. So if you're cross-watching for generations, this is making plans, making moves, investment, long-term plans. Accounting for, we are in Mercury shadow. So this is like putting all of your ducks in a row. This is keeping all that paperwork. Mercury shadow, you're going to get some mail out of nowhere. And this is for everybody, but for earth signs, I know how much this drives earth signs crazy, especially my Capricorns and my Virgos out there. It's just like handling that financial business, and like it sucks when you get things kind of out of the blue, but just being prepared and knowing that you can take authority in that matter. Real estate deals, real estate business, selling, and also for Airbnb people or people who turn over houses, or, this is taking something from scratch and building it from the garden up. So this also feels like a second real estate deal, like almost like people have two homes. I don't know why I'm feeling that. There feels like there needs to be one more piece of information that comes out with this Ace of Pentacles, earth signs. Follow your dreams, even if it doesn't seem normal. So, like, while you're putting plans into place, it's also like if you've got some weird thing that seems messy, like I feel like almost like a canvas full of paint and things get messy, allow certain things to get messy. So I had a card just overturned for the next one, but I'm gonna go with the shuffle for my water sign friends. Water signs Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You're all right. We got a 10 of Cups, and then this guy who came out, which is the Page of Pentacles. So the 10 of Cups is about family, protection, love, healing, growth, heart chakra journeys, kindness. I do feel children here. Remember, the generations behind the millennials are very, very, very much old generations coming back. So if you're in the car driving, going somewhere, and your little one is in the back on their iPad or just talking and saying things, and you're like, what the hell are you saying? Please listen to them. Please listen to what they're saying. They have a generational message. Um, the growth cycles are allowing your family to teach you water signs. It is about family. It is about coming together. It is about, I kind of feel this as a giant party. I don't normally feel 10 of Cups as a party. Usually that's 3 of Cups. But I feel like this is a family gathering. And I feel like with water signs, there is this viewing the future and this pinnacle point. Like the way that I see this rainbow is like this is generations, the indigos, the amethysts, leading us towards a higher power, a higher strength. Um, this just feels like the energy of love. This just feels like the energy of connection. This just feels like everybody's coming together again, finding each other again. And with water signs, with this Page of Pentacles, I do feel like this is also like looking at things, especially like if we look at where water is in the sky right now. Neptune's in retrograde in Pisces, Saturn's in retrograde in Pisces, and we just went out of that South Node transit with Scorpio. We still have eclipses on the way in Scorpio, Taurus energy again. So Taurus actually. But with this particular case, this is a very earthy card. It's just very, I'm not going to say immature, I'm just saying it's unsure of itself. So it's like you don't have the answers to everything, and we're going to have a lot of oppositions with water from Virgo season. So I think that water signs need a third card. I'm just going to pull this card. 4 of Hearts, 4 of Cups. Okay, so with Saturn active with oppositions, really protect your brain, really protect your mental health, really protect your energy and your physical body. This could feel very new, saying no to a lot of things you didn't say no to before. This can also be like out of your realm. Like this is something that you've never done in this way, in this capacity. You've never moved this slow before, but it's really saying like your energy doesn't need to drop off, but it does need to kind of be like, oh my God, this is a new way to look at love. That's how I feel. Um, it doesn't necessarily need to be like this feels more familial than like dating or romance for my water sign friends. This is like, wow, I never looked at it this way, but it really is home. It really is this land that I'm becoming acquainted with. Okay. So that is, I'm going to have to edit a lot of this stuff out. That is my reading for this week, the 6th through the 12th of August. And now, for those sticking around for the writing, journaling exercises for building/rebuilding a new vision for yourself, I'm right here with you, and I'm going to get seated comfortably. Welcome to the writing slash journaling exercise for the last quarter moon in Taurus. So think about this entire cycle that we've gone through. We started with the new moon in Capricorn, then we headed the first quarter moon, then we headed into the full moon in Aquarius. Now we're here, first quarter moon, right before we enter this new moon cycle in Leo. And so one of the things that I was thinking of, like, as a higher vision, a brand new vision is being created, and that is what a new moon does. It's where we can put our manifestations out there into the world, where we can really be like, this is my heart, this is my destiny. And with this upcoming Leo new moon, it is like, oh my God, here's my heart, just right out here for the world to see. So in this particular case, I was thinking, like, with the last quarter moon, we have Jupiter conjunct the moon. There's a wide conjunction to Uranus and Taurus. So the writing exercise can be as simple or as complex as you need it to be. But on the 8th, we're in this in between journey time. And I was thinking about, like, past, present, future. So with the full moon, it was to write a letter to yourself or to anybody that you need to release and let go. In this particular case, if you're still working with that letter, I would also say for this particular last quarter moon, before we enter the cycle of the new moon, we're in the middle, we're in the in between time of the past, the present, and the future. So I honestly, like, I wrote a letter to past me, present me, and future me. And I'm keeping those letters just in honor. So, like, past me, I wrote a letter, signed it, date it. Present me, wrote a letter, signed it, date it. Future me, wrote a letter, signed it, date it, added in some affirmations. And that's really the exercise. And it's super as simple. Like, you can even just be like, past me, just a couple of bullet points, like this, and this. Present, this, and this. Future, this, and this. And it's really just to honor this lunar cycle, but it's also to honor the solar cycle. So it's like soul cycle, just like in the middle, and we are in the middle. We're in a seasonal middle with the moon. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. So, I mean, I feel like this episode has been kind of up and down, but I also kind of feel like I am vibing with the 8-8 energy. The other thing is, choose a personal symbol. So for me, for example, it's a rose. I love roses. They're my favorite flower. And they've always just been a deep symbol for me. And so I drew a rose as my symbol going in and being like, anytime I'm like trying to figure out, like, what the hell do I do? I feel so lost, so confused. Like, what the fuck is going on? I just think about a rose and I think about what that rose means. And I even put it into my show art. I even put it in as just like a reminder that, like, this is the work. But at the same time, I have this deep symbol of the heart of the sacred mother, of the divine feminine, that's always with me. So, I hope you enjoyed Trust Your Glitter this week. And also this week, if you guys could just like, subscribe, my content, I want to say I'm super grateful. I was on the top 250 for stand up and chartable this week for Apple, and she's moving slowly, but I have to say, I'm not uncategorizing this podcast from stand up. She is staying in stand up because I got a dirty mouth and I say some weird shit, and she's staying in the stand up category. So thank you for continuing to listen to me. Thank you for those in the beautiful country of India. Thank you for continuing to put this podcast on Chartable. So grateful. Thank you for your listens. Thank you to the divine feminine, divine masculine listeners out there. I'm so grateful. And also, I have a project I'm working on. It's a vlog series. It's on my YouTube. You can look at up Christy Belich on YouTube, and I'm just documenting my journey in stand-up comedy. Now, one of the things I'm also doing, I have a vlog series called Camel Toe Strong, which is a complete when I went back, and this is very Mercury retrograde, I went back into my videos and realized I had a whole slew of videos of me on the road for stand-up comedy. So I'm just making that into a long vlog series. The first episode's up, Camel Toe Strong. It's a spiritual journey about being a stand-up comedian on the road. Please, please, if you love stand-up comedy or if you just love weird shit. I do a lot of weird shit. There's a lot of me talking to a camera, but I'm very, very proud of this series. I'm very proud of the journey. And if you're on a journey, keep going, keep creating, keep loving, keep appreciating. You got this and have a great week ahead. Take care. Bye.